A lot of times when recovering from people pleasing behavior, we forget about our relationship with our parents. We learn how to set boundaries with strangers, friends, acquaintances, but we still struggle to set those same boundaries with mainly parents, but also this could apply to grandparents or siblings. Today I'm going to talk about parents mainly because with that there's a element as well of power or authority that your parent usually has, being that they brought you into this world and that you depended on them for the first at least 16 18 years of your life. Coming from a Muslim Arab background, the respect and kindness to your parents is super important. It is one of the top up there things that you do to be a good Muslim. And so it is important to me, and I do want to first start off by saying that drawing boundaries with your parents and expressing when you don't agree with something or don't want to do something because it goes against your wishes, that does not count as disrespecting or being rude to your parents. It does not mean being unkind to your parents. And if anything, sometimes I view people pleasing with your parents and hiding the truth with your parents to technically be more unkind because you're not giving them the truth. You are sugarcoating or hiding something, which, if they eventually found out, they might not be too happy about the thing itself or because you've hidden it from them. Granted that you're probably not telling your parents or not being honest with them because they've made it difficult to be honest with them, because they have made you responsible for the way that they react to information that you provide them with. And so I don't blame you, and I do the same. But I'm slowly learning that just as I want to not be a people pleaser in my workplace, with my friends, I want to set boundaries and make sure they're respected. The same applies to my parents. Now, personally, I'm not of the group of people who say that you don't owe your parents shit and that they chose to bring you into this world. Of course, they had to provide you with food and shelter and education and safety. And I agree completely that that's not exceptional parenting, but I personally think that there's still, that in itself is something to be grateful for. Maybe that's still an area of people pleasing that I have to heal from, who knows. It's good to be respectful to your parents, kind to your parents. But this should not become at the expense of yourself and of your needs. I don't know what age you are when you're watching this, but I want to tell you that the younger that you start doing this, the better. I have gone through some Reddit threads about, mainly it was an Asian family or parents kind of thread, where they talk about how much the people pleasing behavior from a young age until they were in their 20s or whatever caused them to have no identity of themselves. Okay, they were always doing things for their parents or worried about what their parents are going to think. They want to make sure their parents are happy. They wanted to be a good kid, to the point that they no longer had a sense of individuality, or they buried it deep down. And I really resonated with that. When it came to the end of high school and applying for universities, everyone around me had an idea of what university they want to apply to, already had first, second, third choices in their mind, and they were passionate about this. They knew what they wanted to go for. And I had no clue. I had not even given it one thought, probably, definitely, because I generally just relaxed and waited for my parents to tell me what to do. What do my parents want? My parents will tell me. And while that was great to be relaxed and, think that everything is just going to happen for me, I don't have to think about anything, I don't have to take responsibility for my own life, this has kind of followed me until today. I kind of touched on it in my video about family estrangement, but I stopped being able to make decisions confidently or know what I really want or trust my judgment when I choose something if I can't get my parents' approval as a final seal of approval and confidence. And especially when you're estranged from your parents, that's not gonna be good, but in general you shouldn't depend on that. You are an adult, and even before you are an adult, you are an individual. All right, And I'm not saying that if you're, I don't know, a teenager right now and you happen to come across this video, you should just be like, oh, screw you, parents. I don't want to listen to you. You don't know anything. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that people pleasing is not going to get you very far. And if you are people pleasing to keep the peace, trust me, that's going to just backfire in your face. Because when you are a people pleaser, especially to your parents, you have now set the baseline for them that you're always gonna just say yes, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. You never have opinions of your own. You are basically an extension of them. And to be honest, the reason that you probably become that you developed into a people pleaser is because your parents treated you as an extension of themselves. And so I can't blame you for now acting like a literal extension of them that needs their approval, needs to, the chain of command in a company, you have to go stages of approval and they're the final stage. Instead of thinking of yourself as the final stage, instead of thinking of yourself as someone who can make choices, you can take input from your parents, you can respect their opinion, you can value their opinions, but you can also respectfully say, okay, thank you for sharing that with me, but I don't agree, or I see it this way, or I've done my own research in other areas, and it looks like actually maybe this is the better choice for me. But when you never do that, when you're always just following what your parents do and doing what your parents want without any sense of individuality, the moment that one day you do decide to say, actually, that's not what I want to do, they are going to take it as a much bigger blow to their fantasy or their ego than if you had spent your entire life being truly honest with exactly what you wanted. Even though you have been pleasing them your entire life, you have always put them first, their feelings, their needs, you've always been thinking about them, and they see that. And because of that, they might even walk all over you. The moment that you put your foot down about a subject that really you care about, or you hit an age where like things are clearer and you say, no, mom, no, dad, this is what I think is best, it's gonna be as if you are the most horrible child in the world, because you've like shattered this idea that they had of you, that you do anything they say, and you are basically a doormat. I'm sorry to say that's what I was. All right, so don't take offense, try not to, at least. And so as much as it's easier to just please them, there's a time when it stops being easy, and a time where you have to make the choice to put your foot down about something, and they're not going to take it well. So the earlier you start to set boundaries, healthy boundaries with your parents, while still being respectful, still being kind, the better for you to have a healthy relationship with them that is more likely than to sustain until the end of time, you know what I mean? Because if it's an unhealthy relationship, one day either you are going to suffer a lot, you're going to break down because you're going to get burnt out, or you're going to have to eventually, confront them, and that's going to raise conflict, and it might lead to family issues, estrangement, not talking for a while, and you can avoid that by just being honest. And I say that like it's so easy, and I struggled with it a lot. So it really starts with setting small boundaries slowly, small things. And once you got the hang of that, once you've choose one thing. I read this on a thread, okay? Choose one small area of your life that you want to set boundaries on with your parents, and stick to that. All right, even when they seem upset about it, respectfully be like, look, I don't like this anymore, please don't do that, it upsets me, or I don't like it, whatever, and stick to that. Never let them cross that boundary, and that's when they will gain more respect for you. And once you got the hang of that, you can start to build other boundaries if there are any. Obviously, don't just, you don't have to start like putting in rules just for fun, but like notice what things your parents do that might not be great for you, that might harm your mental well-being or upset you, and start to draw boundaries based on that. And it's going to be hard at first. They're not going to react well at first because they're used to you taking whatever they say all the time with a smile on your face. But eventually it will lead to a much more balanced relationship with your parents, and they will have more respect for you. There is the chance that, depending on the issue that you're building your boundaries about, that they might take it very badly and just cease communication with you. And that is gonna suck. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna be hard. But at least you've shown your true needs to them, and they've shown you how much they care about those needs. And sometimes it's hard to accept that they don't seem to care much if you're not doing exactly what they want you to do. But if you ever want a chance at potentially having a healthy relationship with a parent like that, you have to start drawing your boundaries. So that's all for today's video. I hope that made sense and was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.